Hello, in this video we're going to be talking about the Golgi Body, Golgi apparatus. So let's not waste any of your time. Let's get right to it. Now when we're talking Golgi Body, we want to reference the endomembrane system that we've already talked about. It's a member of that. It's an important member of that. You can think of the Golgi Body, Golgi apparatus. Again, you'll see both names in websites and textbooks and stuff. But it's all about packaging. Okay, the proteins, once they're made, once they've gone through the rough ER, they make their way to the Golgi Body. And again, a series of flattened membranes, and you can see in the picture beside me, again, that kind of that zigzag maze look. But as the proteins and lipids, whatever, go through, they're prepared and packaged for transport. Okay, they're getting ready to go somewhere. It may be across the cell, it may be to another cell. Okay, but they're getting packaged up, so they're kind of like the UPS, post office, whatever, FedEx that you want, like to put stuff in a box, envelope, get it ready to go somewhere else. But that's their main task. And when it leaves the Golgi Body, Golgi apparatus, you can see at the bottom those little circles. Those are vesicles. Basically, with a molecule that's being transported is inside of that. And now that can exit the cell through the membrane, and at that point in time, once it gets in the blood system, it can go wherever it needs to until it gets to where it needs to get to, and then it goes into that particular cell. But there are two sections of the Golgi. The cis side, which is, in looking at it, is the top side. That's the one that receives the proteins from the rough ER. And then the trans side, trans for transportation, once it exits the trans side, then it goes to wherever it needs to go to. Maybe it's just going across the cell, or maybe it's going into another cell. But it's vesicles. They're basically the trucks, the delivery trucks. So the post office gets all the mail ready, and they put it onto the truck, and the truck drives away. The post office would be the Golgi, and the truck would be the vesicles. All right, continuing with the Golgi. You can see there in the picture beside me, it's the kind of the yellowish one, the blue one with the little red dots. That would be obviously the rough ER. And so we're looking at the yellowish one. That's the Golgi stack of, as I mentioned, semicircular flattened rings. Again, we want to think zigzag maze, going back and forth as we're getting done with things. And once the material that's made leaves the rough ER, it heads to the Golgi, and that can be proteins, that can be lipids, okay, anything like that. But sorted, tagged, getting ready for packaging. As I mentioned, the cis side, I mentioned the trans side, and getting into the vesicles, ready to head out to wherever you're going to go. Okay, our next organelle to talk about is the vacuole. And vacuole we mentioned in our introduction to cells. As you look at the picture beside me, that's obviously a plant cell. For one, it's kind of got a rigid shape, not quite square or rectangle, but you certainly see the chloroplast there, which tells you it's a plant cell. And that large central vacuole, as I explained in that entry video, that's what helps plants to stand upright. That vacuole gets filled, they can press against the cell wall, creating that hardened ridge. And when you stack those up, kind of like what our vertebrae does, it allows the leaf of the plant to stand up. Excuse me. Now when it comes to vacuoles, Okay, there are certain types or different types. The central vacuole that we talked about in plant cells, or the storage vacuole, which is more what we have. We have a bunch of small ones within our cell. The third one, the contractual vacuole, in fungi and protists of different types, it has a particular function with the motion or movement, locomotion of the particular cell or whatever it might be, organism. This vacuole works similar to like a large aquatic mammal, like a whale of some kind, that has the blowholes. They kind of take all that water in, filter for food, and then blow out the water at the top. That's how what a contractual vacuole would look like, except with the contractual vacuole, it's in the medium, and when it blows that out, it pushes against the medium and therefore moves the organism in a particular direction. So you can orientate that. It's kind of like if you are in a canoe and you're at the bank and you're ready to get out there, you take the oar and push against the land or the dock, whatever, and that pushes you in the opposite way. That's Newton's third law. For every action, there's a reaction. That's also how you can tip over a canoe. A lot of people, when they get too close to an overhanging branch, they want to grab the branch or push away from the branch. Well, the branch isn't going to move, but guess what does move? That's the direction, the boat itself. You can just tip it right on over. But anyway, that's a whole different subject. But that is a look at the three types of vacuoles. Well, that's our video over Golgi and the vacuoles. The next time we get together, we'll be talking about lysosomes. So we'll see you then.